Not only was this the first ever game with voice samples, it decided to do this in French. Bon voyage indeed. But I wish we could talk about this under better circumstances, because this is a competition. Not just for whatever is going on for this game, but about humanity itself. This is Vanguard, a 1981 shoot-'em-up by SNK, and like any Golden Age shoot-'em-up, we're trying new things. Nearly every single time, but who is the second player in this? Well, better late than never, I'm playing the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, when SNK is in fact 47. Timely. I'm playing this because this is from Digital Eclipse, and you could see the groundwork being laid here for their later work in the Jeff Minter collection, the Atari 50 collection featuring Trevor McThur, the Karateka documentary. I've got to admit I've not opened the Cowabunga collection yet, to my shame. I've also just downloaded it as part of PS Plus as well. But it's not like they were terrible before this. I still fondly remember their ports on the 360 and the added features for those. People laud M2 for their extras, and rightly so, but Digital Eclipse should get similar praise. For each game where appropriate, they added console versions, regional versions, and did something where they provided a tool-assisted run of the game, which the player could just jump into at any point. I say tool-assisted with confidence, because what the right-hand side of the screen is doing is not humanly possible. Look at the destruction, look at that precision. We can beat the machines though, with tenacity and a bit of technical cheating. So if you've been watching what's going on the screen, then it's a bit interesting, isn't it? Right, I just finished the diagonal bit, but yes, we have diagonal scrolling back in 1981. Sadly, diagonal did not survive the great shmup war of the 80s to determine scrolling dominance, which of course did not end in a definitive winner, but rather a strange truce. We also have an army of legally distinct Star Destroyers for our hero to shoot at in this cave. At the bottom, he's going to get some energy, which is in fact the Mario Star item before Mario was allowed to have a personality. Which is great because you use your ship to just ram into things. You want more innovation? Well, you can shoot in 4 separate directions. How this was represented in the arcades? Well, there were 4 buttons shaped like a diamond. Yes, they invented the modern control scheme. I say that with no real research behind it, so please prove me wrong. But I'm not comfortable enough to claim that it is the first game to have an in-game built-in map. Sorry, I said SNK. This was just published by SNK. This is in fact one of the first games worked on by Toze. At least one of the first where they were credited on. And one of the few games they've been credited on as a main developer on their 40-plus year existence. They are one of the most prolific Ghost developers in the business, but the right-hand side is about to finish the first loop. I'll tell you what the computer is doing when I get to them at some point in the next few hours, but it's up to the final boss right after finishing this vertical section. Yes, it's vertical as well. This game does everything. But there's one last thing it might have borrowed from Star Wars. One shot is all you need. And apparently the Force was not with the Taz. Probably would have been easier for the rest of the Rebel Force if they could just stay in front of the exhaust pipe. But the Taz is now done. I keep calling it Taz, but it's not a speedrun, force of habit, sorry. So for the sake of synchronicity, let's pause that one to allow me to catch up a bit and we'll restart it for the second loop. Yes, we can shoot in all 4 directions, and you have seen from this current section that shooting up and down is vital for the cave with these tight corridors. But I have my power up at the moment, so I can just slam into them. But you do need to use all 4 directions throughout the game, even if you're not tool assisted, especially if you're not tool assisted. Always choose the bottom route. If ever a choice presents itself, choose bottom, except the final approach in G Darius, where there are enemies disguised as power-ups. Sneaky, sneaky porygons. The reason why I'm so far behind is that there is a checkpoint system, and I have died and will die some more, but hopefully this will be the last section before we change scrolling direction. I think this is the first game that scrolls diagonally, but I don't see it often in shmups. G Darius had it for a little bit, but mostly it comes from belt action beat-em-ups. I'm thinking Turtles Arcade, for example. Not sure what triggers move into the next section, but I believe it might have to do with kills accrued, or to put it nicely, points accrued. Right, so you can hug those worms for the vertical bits, they give you points and invincibility, but I find you can only give a certain number of hugs before it becomes deadly. These guys thrust down, directly down, so you can shoot ahead. Not like ship movement is that fast, but just stay calm and try to keep as straight as possible. And keep center, because those little pokey out bits hurt. At the end of each loop though, we go against Vanguard itself, and the way it will work, the doors will close behind me, and progressively more will close while you just shoot at it from the side. There is a moving gap, so the idea is to time the shot right, but I died. But the game doesn't care. We begin lap Loop 2. The components are the same, but the composition is slightly different. You'll see the map is slightly different. You'll also see that the enemies we're encountering are different. I mean, different layout. We're currently ripping off Battlestar Galactica on both sides. And then in a second, our screens will both be ripping off Star Wars. And then, I don't know what else. The energy in the super state carries us far into the first section though, and this is why I think progression is point-based, because Taz goes off into the green zone. When it's not ripping off popular 70s sci-fi series, you have to use your imagination a bit. These here are pests. Just buzzing around, not accepting their own demise, and this is so annoying when you just want to progress. You get the energy and you want to smash things, but the game won't let you smash things. It's not fair. Oh yeah, there's a fuel mechanic, kind of. It's more of a kill meter. Unlike Scramble, where you had to bomb fuel canisters in order to refuel, which we don't question too much since it was also 1981, it's also my worst performing video, probably because it's eye bleach. So instead to refuel, you kill things. The kill meter also determines how long you can use the super state for. So mine is just run out since the yellow has reached its limit, but it's okay, I've got some more. Now you can see that yellow bar below the map gradually decreases as time goes by. It's also good for accessibility to give visual indications of things. Firstly, arcades were loud. Secondly, 44 years later and I'm listening to audiobooks and podcasts whilst playing this. Right, is this going to be the last laser wall? Nope, no, the Taz is storming ahead though, but that's fine. My challenge that I've decided all by myself with no consideration for Digital Eclipse whatsoever is whoever gets the best score wins. Yes, we started a loop 3,000 points behind, now we're about 15,000 points behind, but something taught us hair. But that was about time as well, wasn't it? Oh well. Sorry, I missed out Star Trek. That's what Taz had just done, taking out the Starfleet. Whilst I am finally on to the second bout against the Star Destroyers. What I don't like about these guys is their willingness to shoot as soon as they spawn into existence. My ship is slow, so I always need to be on my guard. Against Vanguard, if there are multiple bunched together and I choose the wrong direction out of instinct, I am screwed. But what this doesn't show is the many attempts beforehand set to Benny Hill music where I did just that. Why are the walls deadly to me but not to Starfleet? That is not fair. I realise now I didn't finish my Toze story, so yes, prolific Ghost developer. One of the last games they were credited on as a co-developer was Scarlet Nexus, the anime-inspired character action game. They have been involved in so many games though, yet their name never gets mentioned. Alright, Tash is finishing up the second loop now, and just Vanguard really left to go. 5 lives left there, I've got 3 for me, and Starfleet is starting to eradicate me. Funny that they only turn bloodthirsty when I arrive. Taz has done the second loop, 89,000 points, and let's be the most British possible right now, it's like cricket. Digital Eclipse's Taz has started the third loop and then given up. It's walked away, it's declared. It thinks 89,000 points is enough, and since I'm 23,000 points behind, that's probably right, but I will try nonetheless. Like the English cricket team, I like a challenge, even if it's futile, and I am a lot of things, including delusional. Very, very delusional. As you can see though, there are 5 minutes left of this underdog story. Digital Eclipse also does some nice things to modernize the controls, or rather make sure they map well to a modern controller. So for this, I've almost turned it into a twin stick shoe, so the right stick dictates the direction of my shot, and auto fire is enabled. Obviously I'm using a D-pad rather than the left stick, I'm not a complete monster. First hug, warm and fuzzy. Second hug gets me out of almost certain death, but it's over. Now let's focus on the sperm. What did I say? Sperm. We're cutting the journey off short for a lot of these ones and just want to waddle away. But they stand in the way between us and Loop 3, and with that we need to take care of the second Vanguard. Here it comes. Yeah, that was too early. I can't consistently say when these phases will end. It felt like an end there. And alright, we'll go a little bit further. No, I'm dead. Game. Please have mercy on me. I have 14,000 points left to gain. Right. Thank you, Vanguard. Right. It will be a little bit easier. Yes, faster than any of the Vanguard fights for the Taz. Now, for Loop 3. So a clear of the game is generally considered to be loop 1 and 2, which is in fact forms one loop, since loop 1 and loop 2 are different in terms of the loop layout. Then we go back to the beginning. There is of course a difficulty increase at every step, as was the style at the time, which means for the first bit I have to deal with these things. No wonder Digital Eclipse gave up. Come embrace your inevitable death, please. I have things to do this afternoon. And are we going to go green now? Yes, we are. Eventually. Yippee! Less than 11,000 to go before I beat the AI, the best in the world. And this is like Kasparov against Deep Blue here. I am fighting not just to have a clear on my belt, but also to prove that humanity cannot be toppled. And I'm going to prove this by doing what I do in every online racing game. We go bumping. First diagonal section, less than 10,000 to go. These floating plasma balls better have fear of me. I can shoot down. Now, if I was to be more efficient, maybe I could shoot forward every now and then. But I'm lazy, and this is a sure thing right here. Why rock the boat when my destination will be there for me regardless? And they will be coming now into their second formation, and things are a little bit tighter. They will only move vertically, but there is some horizontal movement in the spawn points, so I have to be a little bit careful to not slam into the plasma ball when repositioning. Again, we're not rocking here, we are in the 80s, just need to continue this pace against the machine, and it will be vanquished. Right, and now we're coming into the next section. And did you see that shot? I hate these guys. I hate these transitions. They are the most dangerous part. But yeah, more ships just clogging this artery-like cave, limiting my ability to move out of the way. It opens up a bit, but that's a little bit too rare here. This game received a whopping 2 ports during its time, once on the Atari 2600, which was, well, it was a 2600 game. Can't expect too much. A lot of compromises, but manages to keep the spirit alive. You had a focus-like button, yes, only 25 odd years before Cave. Okay, I'm sure they didn't invent focus buttons, but it's the earliest I can remember. And unfortunately, the next was on the Atari 5200, which was actually good. Harder than this, despite having just died, but good. It was almost arcade in the home, that most cherished of accomplishments when it came to 80s and 90s home consoles. It's unfortunate because the Atari 5200 was a giant flop. But then it obviously wasn't arcade perfect, but I still felt it got a lot right when compared to the original experience. And 2,000 left to go, we're running out of lives, but we're going to do this. Please be nice to me, pink plasma balls. But we're going to do the same as we do in every diagonal section. We're camping at the top and shooting down. The others on the left and right, and they're just doing their thing, and they can. They can do exactly just that. Because you know what, folks? Sitting at home, here on the Ballerama, your hero, that is to say me, but on behalf of humanity, well, we're going into... No, I've died. That was my last life. Game over. But doesn't matter. We have beaten the machine. We have proven humanity's worth. We can move forward as a species. Thank you all for watching. Until the next time when we do something truly incredible or truly delusional. Bye now.